If your business is at the point where you have successfully navigated the South African market and now you're setting your horizons on international growth, expanding into regions like the US or Europe, then this video is for you. Taking your business global can unlock incredible opportunities, but it also brings a new set of challenges. Selling products or services across borders means you're no longer just thinking about your customer, you're worrying about currency, compliance, and logistics too. When you operate internationally, you need to research not only the customers in each market, but also the financial regulations that come with it. Things like exchange controls, tax policies, and currency regulations. If you're selling physical products, you'll need to factor in international shipping, customs duties, and handling costs. And even if your business is digital or service-based, crossing certain revenue thresholds can mean you'll need to register for VAT and comply with country-specific tax laws. In the US, that even extends to the state level, where sales tax rules differ from one state to another. One of the biggest obstacles for South African businesses expanding offshore is managing currencies, and that's what I'll be unpacking today. In this video, we'll look at your options for offering multiple currencies online, explore what's possible on Shopify and Woocommerce. I'll take you step by step through the ins and outs of repatriating global currencies back to South Africa using PayPal and FNB, as well as take a closer look at Payfast's multi-currency options. Setting up an FNB online profile does take time and effort if you're a non-FNB customer, but once it's done, it gives you the ability to transfer foreign earnings back to South Africa, no matter what your bank account is. The options to hold multi-currencies in South Africa remain limited, given some of the South African Reserve Bank's regulations. The Reserve Bank regulates capital flows into and out of South Africa, which means there are limits on personal allowances, and only authorized dealers, which are mainly banks, can process currency transfers. Each time you bring back funds into South Africa, you must declare the purpose and source of those funds. We're also currently constrained by the fact that Stripe and Shopify Payments, two of the most widely recognized and used global payment processors, aren't yet available in South Africa. That adds extra friction and admin costs, although this may change in the future. What we do have is access to PayPal, Payfast's multi-currency feature, and FNB's agreement with PayPal that allows you to transfer funds to any South African bank account, not just FNB. None of these solutions are perfect, and each comes with its own transaction and conversion fees, but they do make international trade possible for South African entrepreneurs. My name's Victoria, and if you find this kind of content helpful, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me continue sharing these insights and making these videos. Now let's dive into the pros and the cons quickly when we start to offer multiple currencies on an online store. The pros of offering multiple currencies are that you have access to a global market, and with this global market access, you get to target a larger base of buyers, which can unlock greater earnings potential for your business. The second thing is that you can charge potentially higher prices and have higher earnings. Earning in currencies such as the US dollar or the euro, which are stronger currencies relative to the rand, can increase your revenue potential. You also build trust with an international base. Buyers like to shop in familiar currencies, and it signals professionalism and credibility. Many international customers prefer to pay in a currency they recognize, and this small change can boost conversion rates. You can diversify your currency exposure. Earning in different currencies can offer protection against rand volatility, allowing you to diversify your currency exposure. You can hedge against currency risk while positioning your brand globally. You have the option to pay international suppliers more easily. If you import products or work with foreign manufacturers or freelancers, earning in a foreign currency can simplify your entire supply chain. Paying suppliers directly in US dollars removes the need for currency conversions, reduces bank fees, and speeds up cross-border transactions. The cons of offering multiple currencies are that you're still exposed to currency volatility. Exchange rates fluctuate daily. You will need to monitor rates and develop a system to repatriate funds at exchange rates that work in your favor. So looking to bring back funds when the rand is weaker so you can benefit from the currency gains. Additional fees. Banks and payment gateways often charge conversion or withdrawal fees for foreign currencies. This can range from small percentages to more substantial costs depending on your provider. Over time, they can also quietly eat into your profits. Customer confusion. If your website is not set up in a user-friendly way, customers who are based in South Africa seeing prices in dollars or euros can be confused. It introduces another layer of pricing and may create the impression that your store doesn't cater to local shoppers. To solve this, you'll need a website with geolocation functionality, which automatically detects a user or customer's country and adjusts your store prices accordingly. Complex tax and compliance requirements. Operating in multiple currencies sometimes means different tax rules apply depending on where your customer is based. You may need to register for VAT or collect sales tax in certain regions. This can complicate your bookkeeping and your accounting systems, especially if you're selling in regions like the EU or the UK. Accounting and reconciliation challenges. If your payment gateway settles in dollars or euros, your accounting system will need to handle foreign exchange revaluations accurately. This adds another layer of admin, particularly when reconciling payments and calculating your profits. Slower settlement and repatriation times. When you receive foreign currency payments, the process of transferring funds to a South African bank account can take longer and may involve additional documentation. Depending on your provider, this can delay access to cash flow, something smaller businesses need to manage closely. Now that we've discussed the pros and cons, let's move on to the practical application of offering multiple currencies. Shopify and global currencies. Shopify is one of the most powerful e-commerce platforms in the world, powering around 12% of the online retail market in the United States. It's a plug-and-play website builder that offers flexibility, scalability, and a wide range of integrations for online stores. However, for South African businesses, there are a few important limitations, and most of them stem from the fact that Shopify Payments is not yet available in South Africa. Because of this, South African merchants must rely on third-party payment gateways such as Payfast, Paystack, or Yoco, to name a few. Shopify adds an additional 2% transaction fee if you're using the basic plan. This fee is on top of your payment gateway's own transaction costs, which are usually around 2.5%, meaning you could end up paying close to 5% in fees per transaction. Another major drawback of not having access to Shopify Payments is the inability to accept multiple currencies. You can either set up your store in South African rands, which allows integration with local payment gateways like I've mentioned, or you can choose an international currency like the US dollar, euro, or pounds that works with PayPal. What you can't do is accept payments in multiple currencies simultaneously. The Markets tab in Shopify, which is designed to let merchants configure international regions and currencies, is essentially redundant for South African stores. And while currency converter apps may display prices in different currencies, at checkout the customer will be forced to check out in rands only if you've set it up in rands specifically. For example, I've tested a multi-currency converter plugin called Bucks, which can automatically detect a user's location and display prices in their local currency. It works visually, but at checkout, all transactions are still processed in rands. Payfast and multi-currency. One way to work around Shopify's multi-currency limitation is by integrating Payfast. With Payfast, customers can choose the currency they'd like to pay in at checkout. whether that's US dollars, euros, pounds, the pula, or Australian dollars. This does give international buyers a sense of flexibility, but there are a few important drawbacks to keep in mind. The first thing is currency options only appear at the very end of checkout. Customers only see the multi-currency selection once they reach the final step of the payment process. This means they browse your store in one currency, and only when they select the Payfast button right before payment do they have the option to select a different currency, which can feel confusing. If you're using a multi-currency plugin, the converted price often differs from what's displayed on your store. The amount shown on your store may not match the converted price on Payfast's checkout page. No customer likes to think they're paying one price only to see a change at the last moment. You don't actually hold any foreign currency. Even though your buyer pays in dollars or euros, when you use the Payfast gateway, it automatically converts the payment into South African rands and deposits it into your Payfast wallet. This gives you limited control over your foreign earnings and removes the option of holding or managing funds in another currency. Woocommerce and multicurrency. I don't want to confuse you with too many options in this video, but I do want to show you what's possible with Wordpress and Woocommerce, where you can set up an international store, accept a number of different currency using PayPal and a multi-currency converter, as well as integrating a South African payment gateway. PayPal supports over 25 international currencies. I'll include the list in a link in the description. They don't, however, accept rands. But this is okay, we can load a local processor to accept local payments for this. In the next few steps, I'll be taking you through how to set up a multi-currency store using Woocommerce. From there, I will walk you through how to set up an FNB online account in order to link your PayPal account and repatriate your global currencies back to South Africa if you need to. First things first, let's set up a PayPal account. You need to set up a PayPal account, and this is quite easy to do. You will need to set up a business account in order to be able to accept transactions, even if you're not trading under a business name or if you're using it in your personal capacity. You'll need to verify your PayPal account by linking a debit or credit card to your PayPal account. If you have not verified your account, you will not be able to accept payments online, and you won't be able to link it to your FNB profile. I would also recommend that you set up your PayPal account name in the same name as the business or the personal name you will be transferring to in South Africa. Within your PayPal dashboard, you can see you can manage subscriptions, recurring payments. Subscriptions can be integrated within your Woocommerce website, and you can charge customers according to a particular schedule. You can also manage payments through the request payment link or the send payment link. You can also create a paypal.me link, which allows you to create a payment link without customers having to fill in your email or phone details. The send payment link is helpful for sending small foreign amounts to international suppliers should you be sourcing samples or paying for supplies. If you're serving international customers and you need to create formal invoices or quotes, you can do this within the invoicing platform. And what's nice about this is that you can select the particular currency you would like to receive funds in. Once I have created the invoice, it automatically sends it to my customer. The customer can then view and pay the invoice via PayPal or debit or credit card. Alternatively, they can download the invoice and use the QR code to quickly and efficiently pay for the invoice in the same way. There are a few options here. If you go to account settings, select money, banks and cards, you can add various currencies to and transfer between accounts. Bear in mind that converting to different currencies does mean that you incur fees. You will see that on the dashboard there is an option to link a bank account for easy transfers. However, this only works for US bank accounts. If you have a US bank account with a US institution, then you can add your bank account. If you don't have a US bank account, this is where you will have to use FNB to repatriate the funds funds back to South Africa. Some forums have mentioned using Wise, which is an international company based in the UK that allows you to hold and exchange different currencies at affordable rates. However, it is no longer possible to directly link PayPal to Wise. You will still need to transfer funds to your formal bank account in South Africa and then only transfer back out to Wise, connecting PayPal to Woocommerce. Next up, I'm going to take you through how to create a multiple currency store using Woocommerce on WordPress. First things first, I have downloaded the Woocommerce plugin. I've stipulated my base currency to be rands in the settings dashboard. I've also integrated Payfast as well as Paystack as local payment options. I want to add PayPal so I can get paid in other major currencies. Once your PayPal account has been verified, you can connect your account to Woocommerce through the payment section by simply enabling the PayPal plugin and logging into your PayPal account. Once this has been activated, you can then accept international payments. Within the ecosystem, you can also choose to select whether you want to accept debit or credit cards for customers who don't have a PayPal account. Next thing I have to do is install a currency plugin. There are a variety of plugins to choose from. I would choose the one with the most downloads. I chose for this example multi-currency for Woocommerce. Here I can select the currencies I would like to offer. If I select more than 2 currencies, it says I have to upgrade to the paid version, which is only $34 once off. For now and for the sake of this example, I will only have 2 currencies, rands and US dollars. You can see that the default currency is South African rands and the exchange rate automatically updates. The converter will also auto-select the currency based on your buyer's location. I can edit the design and change where the currency selector appears on my website. From the product page, I can then stipulate a fixed US dollar price if I'd like to. One thing to note is that I have to set store currency to South African rands in order to be able to integrate the Payfast plugin. Otherwise, if I change this to any other currency, the plugin won't work. Now my store is open for international buyers. Let's create the product and stipulate the pricing for multiple currencies. Here I've added the description, title, and I can stipulate whether it's virtual, downloadable, or a subscription product. I like to stipulate fixed currency prices so that pricing doesn't change and customers aren't confused by anything. So if you have multiple currencies, you'll need to stipulate all the fixed prices for different currencies. Linking PayPal to FNB. Next up is the tedious part. PayPal and FNB have established a partnership since 2010 that allows FNB to act as the intermediary, essentially, that repatriates funds from PayPal to South Africa and then finally to the bank account of your choice. Every person who utilizes this service through FNB will have to register for an online banking profile. This is for customers who aren't banking with FNB. You'll need to select whether it is for your personal capacity or your business, stipulating either your SARS tax code or your company registration code. You will also need to disclose the source of the funds that you will be repatriating back to South Africa. Once you have registered for online banking, you will then need to submit your FICA, which includes a color copy of your identity document and a copy of your proof of residence. For company accounts, this may require that you submit your formal registration documents to FNB as well. Every person will need to validate their identity and their details by visiting an FNB branch, and you'll have to go with your ID and log into your banking profile and use your fingerprints to activate your online banking profile at the FNB branch, like I've mentioned. From this point, you can then log into your online banking account wherever you are and link your PayPal account. Once your PayPal account has been linked, you can add your South African bank account under the Maintain Profile tab. it can take up to 1 day to verify your bank account details. This sounds like a long process, and it does take time and effort. So once you're ready to withdraw funds from PayPal, this might be time or value dependent, so either at the end of the month or when your balance reaches a particular amount, or simply when you need the cash flow in South Africa. Let's look at an example. You will need to go to your FNB online banking account, go to your PayPal account via the Forex tab, select PayPal withdrawal. Stipulate your withdrawal account and the withdrawal amount. For every transfer back to South Africa, you will need to stipulate the balance of payments code. There is a BOP guide, which I will include a link to via FNB. A BOP code is a balance of payments code used by the Reserve Bank to categorize international payments. Take a look at the list and specify the description that is most applicable to your service or product. Agree to the regulatory declaration as well as the terms and conditions, then click confirm. FNB will then stipulate your withdrawal quote details, which you must either accept or decline. A results page will display your transaction details. It is important to note a withdrawal from your PayPal account can take approximately 3 to 5 business days to reflect in your linked South African bank account. Let's break down the potential fees involved. FNB charges fees based on a sliding scale of between 0.81% and 1.52%. which is dependent on your monthly transaction values. PayPal also charges transaction fees of between 3.4 and 4.4% plus an additional fixed fee. This fixed fee is dependent on the currency as well as the exchange rate at the time, but it can range from 5 to 6 Rand at the time of this video. Let's break down the potential fees you'll incur if you withdraw $1,000 from your PayPal account through FNB and finally to your South African bank account. For the sake of this exercise, let's convert $1,000 to rands at 17 Rand and multiply by PayPal's higher fee of 4.4%. Adding the 6 Rand fixed fee gives us 686 Rand in fees to PayPal. Now let's calculate FNB's fees by taking 17,000 Rand and multiplying by 1.52% to give us 258 Rand in fees to FNB. In total, when we repatriate $1,000 to South Africa, the total fees incurred are approximately 944 Rand. This is a hypothetical calculation and fees may be more or less depending on the exchange rate and the applicable fees at the time. So please don't hold me to this, I'm simply illustrating what the fees may be. If we take 944 Rand and divide it by 17,000 Rand, this represents an overall fee incurred of 5.6%. This isn't totally unplayable, but it is on the higher end if you consider local payment processing fees. So there you have it, a brief look at the challenges and options South African businesses face when it comes to offering multiple currencies online. I hope this video has given you some clarity and practical insight into what's currently possible. Like I mentioned earlier, none of these solutions is exactly perfect, but they do give us access to global trade. Hopefully, with time, regulations will evolve and more accessible options will open up for South African entrepreneurs. If you're using a different method to manage multiple currency payments, I'd love to hear about it. Share your experience in the comments below. I'm also really curious to know how you found using FNB and PayPal for international transactions and bringing your funds back to South Africa. So let me know what's worked or not worked for you, and if there's a specific topic you'd like me to explore in a future video, drop that in the comments too. Your feedback really helps me shape useful content for this community. This video also highlights some of the obstacles that local payment processors could potentially solve for us as South African entrepreneurs. So if you're from Payfast or Paystack or even Yoco and you're watching this, then get in touch with me and maybe we can come up with some ideas to help solve the issues we face as South African entrepreneurs when we deal with multiple currencies. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing. It helps me to grow this channel and keep creating content that supports South African business owners and online entrepreneurs. And if you'd like professional help with your website design or your online store setup, feel free to visit Stitch. I have linked our services in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.